What's going on, chat? Sorry about that delay. Welcome back to another live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we get started, we're going to have some fun today. Before we get started, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing you see or hear from me here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content. Let's hop on to the charts. We're going to be taking a look at why this is going to be a fun day. I'm happy to bring this to you guys live. I have a bunch of these new straight to funded pro accounts loaded up. It was actually part of my delay. I'm trying to get set up with the remaining couple that I had set. But let's bring it over to the chart. We'll start doing some analysis. We'll look at these things together. We'll talk, man. But it's my fault. I ran it down to the wire on doing a couple things this morning. No excuses. Play like a champion. All right, so let me go ahead and move this over. Boom. We are looking at Project X here on the Top One Futures on the Project X platform. We got a bunch of accounts getting ready to get copy traded today. Going to be talking about that in a minute, but let's do some analysis. I'm waiting to add two more on here that should be ready to roll soon. Was just waiting for them to come through on my end, but again, that's my fault for running it down to the wire. But as you can see, up in the top left-hand side here and the bottom right-hand side, we are on a new account type this morning. This is the Straight to Funded Sim Pro. This is the new launch, just dropped yesterday from Top One Futures. I have my original 3, and I'm going to be running 7 of these bad boys copy traded. It should be fun because I have not traded with an intraday trailing drawdown. I have not dealt with an ESS score. So you're going to watch me try to figure it out live with you guys, but it'll be fun. We're copy trading over $1 million in sim capital today. That's the game plan. But before we do any of that, before we worry about any of that stuff, let's worry about the charts. Let's take a look at what we got going on here on the daily, because regardless of how much sim capital we're trading or what we're doing with platforms or accounts, trading's pretty much going to be the same, right? Candlestick's going to be the same. They don't care what we're copy trading or not copy trading. So let's take a look. We're looking bullish. Yesterday, no news Monday. I was no trade in the morning. Pretty happy with that. We did get the reaction right off of that top level that I was looking at. If you're in the Discord, you saw that I posted that. Just taking a look at how that played out into the afternoon. I didn't capitalize on it. I actually went no trade all day. That was my day. I was answering a lot of questions, following up with a lot of this new stuff rolling out from Top One. But that's no excuse. I was just no trade all day. So today, again, we're looking like we really, really want to try the upside. We continue to crack above prior day high. Overnight session looked really wild on this. Just wanted to start at the daily, looking bullish overall. Here's our overnight session, right? Let's drop down to the 1 minute because I stare at that all day. Really interesting overnight session, right? So we had session changeover. Came up, cracked prior day high, really aggressively pushed to the upside. And then pre-market here, Asia here sold off really aggressively through London, right? Put the low in below prior day low, just sweeping below prior day low. And then through London into pre-market, here we are back at VWAP. Looking like we want to try to push to the upside, get back above prior day high. But really interesting, man. Not a ton of movement out of yesterday, right? Like this was our session here. We finally did get a nice sweep up here in a reaction. This is what I was looking at. Kind of hung out up here, drifted lower into the close, and then some wild movement through the overnight session, what I call the overnight session, right? Because I'm trading NYSE. And here we are kind of like back towards VWAP. So it could be an interesting one to trade for sure. But we're going to be taking a look at this. We're going to be taking a look at this together. So right off the bat, sitting at VWAP, obviously we are 9:42 a.m. Eastern. Not a whole lot of news today. Just to double check that, finish out some analysis. Yeah, not a whole lot of news today. We got Trump talking at 4 p.m. We do know we are trading headline markets here. Anything can happen at any time. We have crazy volatility coming in as comments come from geopolitics, the U.S. administration, just a whole bunch of nonsense. So, but nothing scheduled that we really have to worry about. So just continuing analysis, watching this right here. I'd be looking, right, framing some trade ideas. Here we go. Sitting in VWAP, right? So kind of similar to yesterday's open, where we're not going to do anything too crazy. Not going to do anything too crazy right off the bat. Yeah, I could see a sell-off back down towards the 6,000 level, right? We got liquidity down at 6,005 right here, kind of below this area of consolidation. I could definitely see a sell-off down around this 605, potentially the 6,000s, right? I could see an aggressive long for a first play back up to this area of high volume, back up to VWAP, right? Very similar, same reversion style play that I'm looking at, near the open. I'm going to stop saying off the open because I don't like to trade the first 15 minutes. But I wouldn't mind looking at something aggressively down here. I don't love that this big round psychological number, the 05s or the 6,000s, is 10 points above prior day low and overnight low, because I often like to take a aggressive counter trend, counter movement trade after a sweep of these levels. So that could be a little bit dicey, putting a stop loss like right here at prior day low, overnight low. So not the cleanest setup, but I'm interested down around the 05s and the 6,000s. I'd be interested down there. We get past that level, we start coming like way down here. Again, same area that I was watching the downside yesterday. We start cracking this really aggressively the downside, down towards the 975s. To the upside, what would get me into something if we started to push to the upside? Yeah, probably around the 30s, 35s. I'm looking at liquidity on bookmap to the upside up here, up above prior day high, but below overnight high. I could see potentially a sweep up around the 30s, a little bit above that for rejection, back down towards VWAP. Wouldn't mind that for a short back down. That's what I'm looking at. Potentially short if we're cracking prior day high to the upside, 30s, 35s, looking short on that. We come back down towards 6,000, huge round psychological number that we've hung out at a long time. And we come down towards this 05 where we have quite a bit of liquidity on the book. I could see a long play off of that. Do I want to jump in on anything immediately? No, right? Here we are hanging back out at VWAP. But we're going to get ready for it. Good morning, chat. What's up? Andrew, Neo, Ralph. I don't know how to pronounce your name. And Wolf. What is going on? Again, we are here on the straight to funded Sim Pro accounts. We're going to be talking a little bit more about these, the upsides, the downsides, because there are a lot of both on this. But in the meantime, when we watch this market start to open up, I'm going to try to get these other two. I think I see one popping up. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about these accounts, man, because while we're waiting for the market to do something around VWAP, and I'm looking to get my final couple accounts copy traded so we could trade $1 million in Sim Capital here like a bunch of wild men. That's going to be my game plan. But here's what we're looking at, guys. These straight to funded Sim Pro accounts. Let me pull the website up. These straight to funded Sim Pro accounts launched yesterday. If you want detailed information on them, you're not going to hang out here the whole time. I got 2 videos explaining in detail what the heck these are and some of the differences when it comes to the different rule set they have. I have another video dropping today after I hop off the live that's going to go side by side with the Instant Sim funded and the Sim Pro accounts, right? Important to note, I'm biased. I stand to make money. I have a link in a code. And I'm going to tell you right now, code RDF is going to get you the best deal on these. Not only 50% off, like it's showing right here and in the email, but 55% off. I'm going to talk a little bit about these, answer some questions that you guys might have. I'm not here to sell you these. I'm going to try to talk as objectively as I possibly can about where these are pretty damn sweet and where they are much harder, right? So just kind of going through from the top real quick. And again, I'm not going to make the whole live about this, but it's new information. It's new on the, the firm that I'm partnered with and primarily trading with. So I want to talk about it. These are instant funded accounts, similar to the straight instant funded accounts. They have a much lower price point. As you can see how aggressive these are priced at. Again, with 55% off, these are actually under $300. I think they're $290 something for the 150Ks. You have no daily loss limit. You have a wider $6,000 max loss limit, right? Not the $4,500 that's on the sim funded. So that's going to be helpful. Here's where they get, let's just continue on benefits first. You can copy trade 7 of these bad boys. You're not limited to 3. You can copy trade $1 million in sim capital. You can copy trade up to 7. Here's where you really got to pay attention, where they are much harder, and the reason for the lower price and the ability to trade, a larger quantity of them. They have an intraday trailing drawdown on unrealized profit. That is objectively harder to deal with than an end of day trailing drawdown that we have on these standard ones. That's much more difficult. Max loss limit trails up with you on profitable positions intraday. Difficult to deal with. Along with that, you have an ESS score, not the regular consistency rule. Kind of similar to what you've seen from firms that also have intraday trailing drawdown and a harder rule set. What I like about this, it's simple, it's objective. You can calculate it on the front end and decide how much you want to risk and what your larger day wants to look like. But we're taking a look at both your largest winning day and your largest losing day and making sure that doesn't equate to more than 30% of your total profit when you go to request a payout. Again, I have a detailed video with a ton of examples breaking this down on my page here if you want to check that out. I won't make the entire thing about this either. Also more difficult, you have a 10 trading days to payout and 7 profitable trading days. And what they're defining that as 7 profitable trading days, 0.1% of your balance has to be green, right? So for 7 days, if you're trading a 50K account, you got to put up at least $50 of profit. There's other rules that apply to these guys. This is just kind of the baseline, the main differences between the two. I think wild opportunity for traders that are consistent, that want to leverage more capital, that want to leverage, copy trading more accounts, that are happy with an intraday trailing drawdown. Maybe they've dealt with it before, or like me, they're going to experiment with it right now. That can really handle setting a personal daily loss limit and a personal daily profit target and sticking to it. They're not home run hitters. They're not clawing back from the depths of hell, right? Because none of that's going to fit well. I don't think these are going to be good for beginners. I don't think this is going to be great for, traders that are just starting out. These are the pro account, right? Pro indicating they are harder to work with, harder to work towards a payout. Again, some guys are hyped on it, saying the price is really low. I can copy trade 7. I can size down. I don't think it's that much harder because I have a 30% to work with, but that's going to be up to you guys to decide. So, code RDF if you want to check these out. This is the deal right now, 55% off all accounts with code RDF. Link is in the top of the chat if you want to check these bad boys out. Ooh, we're almost there to copy trade all 7. Hang on, guys. There we go. Hang tight. Let me just fix this real quick, and I'm going to get this back done on my end. I'm going to have a nice green day or a nice red day, guys. It's going to be interesting. Like I said earlier, I have not traded with an intraday trailing drawdown before. It should be really interesting to experiment with and look to work with. You guys are going to watch it play out in real time. It'll be fun. It'll be some fun stuff. Just adding these. Nice. Cool. Come back over here. Make sure everything's set. Nice. As we come back up towards prior day high. All right, let me share this tab. There we go. We're back in action. Now, as you can see, we got the 6-pack copy traded here on the Sim Pro. We have 7, leader plus 6. So it's 750Ks. Going to be a wild ride for sure, guys. It's going to be a wild ride. But as I was talking, we retested VWAP, and we were pushing back up to the upside. If you're bullish, maybe that VWAP retest gave you an indication that you want to get long. I'm looking short on a pop to the upside. Let's see what we get here. All right, like I said, up around the 30s to 35s, 60-30s, 60 to 35. Wouldn't mind looking for something aggressively short. I think we could see a reaction up there. We could definitely blast way higher, right to the 50s. If we do that, I'm just dead wrong looking for it, down here, and we would want to come all the way up above, overnight high and maybe come and check out these 50s. But I don't mind it for a little quick pop to the upside and a reversion back down to VWAP. I don't love that we retested VWAP here first and now we're continuing. That's not as clean for me, but I still don't mind what I'm seeing. Still don't mind what I'm seeing. Good morning, guys. Smash like, smash subscribe, as always. Appreciate you guys hopping on with me. How much is it? I think we just went through that. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Remember, it's CPI week. Don't go crazy. Stick to your rules. Preserve capital. That's the number one priority. Wolf, well said. Very well said. No movement, just range bound. Good morning. New trading strategy. Did anyone trade the NQ? Pay attention to the YM chart. When YM goes down, long NQ, and vice versa. You will have an amazing chance to win. LOL. Going to buy 3 straight to funded. Then we got a question. How are you? Yeah. Let's see what we got today, guys. Let's see what we got today. If you're new here, welcome to the show. My name's Zach. A little bit about me. Been in the markets for about 6 years. Trading some funded accounts here in the futures market. I don't claim to be the best trader. I don't claim to have it all figured out, to have some magic strategy or massive payouts or be on the leaderboards or live accounts, any of that crazy stuff, man. I'm happy to show you what real trading looks like for me personally. Wins, losses, lost accounts, run-ups to payouts, and everything in between. Happy to show you what that looks like. 100% free. I'm live here, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, almost every damn day, despite a slight delay today. And I also run a 100% free trading Discord. Happy to have you guys in there. Link is down below this video if you want to hop in. No course, not a VIP feeder program, none of that fun stuff. Just free, talking about trading. So let's see what we got rolling today. Again, similar to the setup yesterday, I'd be looking for, I try to do better at marking my chart because I had someone comment that they want to see markings. I'd be looking for a reaction like this. If we really started to sell off, I'd be waiting for us to get all the way down here, maybe even lower, down around this area, and then be looking for a crack back up. But that's initially what I'm looking at. This is rangy choppy up here. Very rangy choppy. My rangy choppy plays have been working very nicely. You can just see what this price action looks like. We're just not getting a lot of follow through. I get smoked on days like this, trading this way, right? If we just break out right at the open, like this is 10 a.m., and we just start to run, I'm trying to short over here, take my L's. Outside of that, not too bad. Not too bad. Will we get a setup, or are we just going to hang a VWAP now? Kind of like what I'm wondering. We had all this crazy movement in the overnight session. I had a couple people comment in my Discord like, we did the big move of the day. We're just going to now chop around. I could see that. I could see that happening, right? It'd be difficult to deal with if we just do this. If we start to put in like, a little 10, 12 point range here on ES for NYSE, but it's definitely could happen. Definitely could happen. But that's what I'm looking at off the open here. 9:56 a.m. We'll hang out, start to see this thing develop. See if we can't put a put some risk on across 7 accounts. Should be fun today, man. Should be really fun. So that's what I'm eyeballing. We'll see. What do you guys think in the chat? What are we feeling? We long America. You guys shorten it to the ground. What do you think? Violently range bound. Violently range bound. Good morning, Ryan. What's up? What's going on, guys? What is going on? Let's see. Let's see what we got today. Tuesday, CPI week. We had a choppy day yesterday. We're going to be checking this out. Back down around VWAP, hanging out, man. Back down around VWAP. All right, you guys are long America. Looking at the chat. What's up, Ralph? What's going on, guys? 1 hour chart looks like it's losing strength. Long, but not sure. Yeah, looking for pivot areas. If no pivot areas, then we drop or ranging till Trump talks at 3 p.m. I got him at 4 p.m. Eastern. You might be looking at your time, Ryan, which is totally cool. But yeah, right around that close, I'd be cautious, guys, if you're trading into the close. That could be dicey. Trump talks today, so maybe very bloody long morning. Yeah, I could see that. Right, here we are again, chopping at VWAP. Not a whole lot so far. Like gun to my head, long probably, right? Holding above VWAP. Sellers not able to take it lower. Stop loss, all the way down here maybe. But I don't think this presents a beautiful opportunity. Either way, maybe you're looking at the daily, the 15-minute really zoomed out, and you're like, this is bullish as all hell. Longs only, send it, wide stop loss, 40 points down below here. We're taking off and running. Trump's going to come in and say something positive into the afternoon. Market's going to anticipate that. Maybe trying to frame an idea for you guys. But this is, again, a lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing. You could zoom in like crazy and scalp away at this. Looking for a couple points, but this is pretty low volatility. I keep an eyeball on the 5-minute ATR from time to time. I have it on a second chart over on the side, and that's the 1 minute. Yeah, and we're 3.4 on an ATR. It's pretty low for what we've been seeing lately. Getting a little wiggly right here as I'm talking about it, but let's see. We start to crack to the upside. You guys know what I'm looking at. Maybe we go check out those 30s, 35s above that prior day high level again. Up to this area of consolidation, kind of where we drifted down before we really aggressively sold off. This is what I'd be looking at a test of. If we had to come all the way back up here, I'm probably taking a stop. I'd be looking to get involved down here. Yeah, right? Clean level of structure. Let me zoom out in the 15-minute. Clean level of structure, tested multiple times, right? We come back up here. Maybe we pull back down one more time. Come check out an area of high volume. Come check out VWAP again. Maybe we just blast off, but that's kind of trade opportunity number one. We sell off really aggressively. Like I talked about, I would try it off the 05s or the 6000s, depending on what it looks like, right? If we're knifing down like crazy, wild, selling volume, I might say, okay, I think we're coming all the way down here first. But I could see a long from down here back up to VWAP. Similar reversion style trades, just trying to play off this back and forth price action and market structure that we've seen a lot of. So let's see what we got. Tea leaves. Scott hasn't joined the stream yet. Yeah, we need Scott with his tea leaves to start reading those. Scott, if you're on here, please chime in with your tea leaf reading. Tea leaf. We need whoever's going to read the sun's rays and the tides in the Hudson River. Sellers giveaway account. No. You never know. I'm not going to say no. So you never know. No red folder news. Could be chopped till afternoon. Yeah, man. Like we had yesterday, just very choppy. Already took a scalp, hit the trailing stop up 120. If nothing else, I'm done for the day. Very nice. Take what the market gives you. Be content with is your current motto. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that, guys. It's my motto as well. What I've really focused on, we always go through different mindset stuff, right? What I've really tried to refocus on, and something that's been demonstrated to me over and over again, and I talked about it a little bit last week, but I'll talk about it again, is the more pressure that you're putting on your accounts, the more pressure you're putting on yourself to quote unquote do well, to make progress, to make money, the more difficult it seems to be. And I'll tell you, I've watched it demonstrated to me personally, which I could speak on more times than I can count. And most recently, it's been demonstrated to me, right? I'm trading top 1 accounts with you guys live. I've really been trying to push towards a goal that I really just shouldn't be setting, large max payouts from copy traded accounts. All the while struggling to make progress, right? Not hitting that goal. While that's happening in the background, I'm still max funded with Top Step with accounts on backup. Not all of them are doing amazing, but I've taken a payout from Top Step every month this year. I took another one last week. Meanwhile, I'm hardly trading the accounts, like hardly trading. I'm not focusing on them. Most of the time, I have a reminder set to take one micro trade across all of them so they don't go inactive and I lose them. Why is that? It begs the question. How does that happen? It's very frustrating, right? Well, you're only just taking good A plus beautiful setups that align with your strategy on those accounts. You're letting them play out all the way. You can hold them all day because you really don't care what happens, right? And then on the accounts that you're focused on, maybe you're trying not to end red. You have some arbitrary goal to be hitting something, right? That you're trying to force on the market. You're not waiting as patiently. When you get into a trade, maybe you're worried about losing money, right? When you're in profit, maybe you're worrying about that turning back on you, and your execution suffers, right? Kind of the same way when you come from demo. Everyone's a hero in demo. We can trade like absolute, amazing traders when there's no risk on the line, right? We enter exactly when we're supposed to enter. We manage our trades exactly the way that we're supposed to manage it based on what's happening in front of us. We're not trading a P&L. We don't care. You're right. We're not worried. That's what I look to try to bring to my trading. But man, it's a reminder that you're not always doing that. Speaking for myself, not always doing that. And it was interesting for me. Like I was reflecting on this, really meditating on it. And I used to think like it was only the money, right? I used to think it was only the money that really factored into that. And that I'm grateful to be in a place that a couple $100 on some instant funded accounts or maybe a few $1,000s in a payout, like that's not really like my big focus. I'm not like, oh man, this is going to make or break me if I lose these accounts or if I make it to a payout. And so I'm like, man, so if it's not that, what do you got going on? Well, maybe it's a desire to do well. It's a desire to show consistency, to continue to prove myself, right? To myself that, I know how to trade, right? And, it can come from a number of different places, different for everybody. So, even if the amount that you're risking is not a lot, even if the accounts don't mean that much to you, don't think that that means that your mindset, your emotions, your psychology is going to be 100% in check. It's not. But man, I cannot tell you the difference that trading from a risk-free, careless type mindset and just saying, I know what my risk per trade is. I'm going to wait for the trade to come. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to let it be a loss. I'm going to let it be a winner. And then I'm just going to go on with my next trade setup or my day. I can't tell you what that means. I can't tell you the difference that it makes. So, I had a dope day. Had a great week last week trading live with you guys. I think we were 3 green, 1 red, 1 no trade for some nice profit across the accounts. But I shared that I was red outside of that. I gave back multiples last week. Just trading aggressively, right? Maybe, just not trading well, not executing really well. And it's mindset. That's it. It's not the strategy. It's not the approach, right? You have the experience. You know how to trade. You know how to manage risk. You're just executing like trash. And why is that? The way that you're thinking about it, right? The way that you're thinking about your trading for one reason or another. So anyway, that's my yap fest on this, guys. I would say think about your mindset. Think about your psychology. Journal. Reflect on this stuff. It makes all the difference. It's the differentiator. It's not the strategy. It's not the approach. It's not the account that you're trading that's going to make or break you. It's not. It's the way that you're thinking about your trading. Again, may not say for you, for me, and what I've seen demonstrated to me throughout my trading. It always comes back to that. As hard as that is, always comes back to that. So, watching this thing chop, still looking to the upside, downside. Gonna read the chat. First session here with you guys. Knowing my past, you'll all win, and I'll be down. Tom, I feel you, brother. Welcome to the show. I feel you. But it's all good. No copy trading here, right? Not a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Again, I don't claim to be any type of great or amazing trader. Just happy to show you what this stuff looks like live every day, and you can decide that for yourself. Jess asked if you're taking payouts from Top Step. You mean with live with them? No, I'm not live with them. I still have 5 XFAs and accounts on backup. If you have a certain amount of profit in one account, they will take you live. Or if you have a certain amount of payouts from the same accounts, they will take you live. I'm close. I haven't intentionally avoided it by any means, but again, I've just came off of trading them a ton. I'm close on some, but I'm going back and forth between a number of accounts taking payouts. But you can continue to take payouts and then be moved live, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, your trading will dictate that. You say you're not ready yet. Trading will dictate that. Don't be scared of that movement. I think it's a checkbox. It's an honor. It's something to be proud of if you get that call up. You could decide whether or not at that point it's going to be beneficial to you as a trader, and maybe you want to do your own live trading thing. But yeah, I'm the god of paper trading. I currently have about 5 million. Yeah, aren't we all, Wolf? Aren't we all? Definitely a luxury to trade. Is there a footprint chart or time and sales on Project X? There's not a footprint chart on Project X, as far as I'm aware. There's a kind of like a halfway footprint chart type thing on TradingView, but I've heard it debated whether or not like that's real, because they're not using like level 2 data or anything that's like really going to be able to show the full depth of market. But I just don't know enough about it. I played with it in the past a long time ago, but that's not there. You do have time and sales. You can configure time and sales on Project X. You can set that up. So far, I'm on practice, so yeah, keep it on practice. Do you use Anchor VWAP from NY Open or just VWAP from the start of the overnight session? Joe, what's going on, man? So I used to run a bunch of different VWAPs. Most of my tools are really similar. The changes that I make are pretty basic. I go back and forth with volume profiles. I go back and forth with different VWAPs. This is just a standard VWAP. This bad boy right here is just a standard VWAP. Here it is. I've changed the color. That's it. But it's a standard session VWAP, so it resets at session close. If I was going to run other anchored VWAPs, it would be to prior day NYSE session, anchored, and anchored to current NYSE session. I think those give you a good feel for different volume weighted average prices at the start of different sessions. I think both of those could be valuable. If you're a VWAP trader, you like that, maybe over some levels, over some order flow like I'm staring at, I think that can be helpful. But, again, the reason you see me take stuff off my chart is I try to be real cautious. I find I get a lot of good traction and great results when I keep things stupidly simple. And as I start to clutter it up, add more, it's giving me too much to think about. Maybe that's just me. I'm a dumb guy, and I need to be able to process the small amount of information quickly. And it can just be too much, right? It starts to not help me. So I do stare at a bookmap chart over on the right-hand side. So that's a piece of information that I got to take into consideration. If I have that, how many indicators, how much information on my chart do I really need before it's just this kind of the same information being overlaid? So that's the thought. Top one takes a while to get 1 2 live. Waiting 3 days for some feedback. Gentleman that says that, what's up, man? First off, congrats on taking a ton of payouts if you're getting moved live. That's awesome. Share that. So did you get any communication after your third payout on what was going on? If you're going to be moved straight to a live, if you're not going to be moved live, if there's a review. I'm always interested to hear it from the traders that are in that spot. I've gotten to speak to a couple of them, but interested to hear. I know it usually takes a couple days, right? Because they review. Yeah, I know a lot of mentality. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. It's just that my mentality from a combine to XFA is very different. I can't imagine how it will be live. I'll take my last payout, and hopefully they don't send me to live. Yeah. Well, again, first off, it's considered for live, right? At every firm, it's pretty similar. You don't just automatically, I don't know any firm that automatically moves you live. It's a certain qualification to be considered for live, and then they decide what they're going to do from there. Yeah, there is mentality that comes into it. So if you struggled a lot coming from like a combine to a funded account, and you haven't traded any live accounts at all in the past, maybe you're going to deal with that different step up to a live account. Like I could see that. And it's interesting. I don't think there's one way, because it affects traders differently. Like some are much more disciplined in a personal cash account, or maybe one single live account, because all the eggs are in one basket. They're not as likely to go on tilt. They know it's not just a $100 funded account now. It's got a lot behind it. So there could be that, but you could also just be kind of like a lot of fear, a lot of money on the line. Maybe that affects execution, but different for everybody. You know, I think again, I think if you're pulling repeated payouts in that way, that's the next step. You know, it's the next step. I think where none of us are going to be able to stay in sim land for forever. You know, you're probably either going to quit before you make make enough to decide to have a personal, live cash account in a couple different ways, or get kicked live by accounts, by firms. And, that's the natural scale up, right? Maybe demo to combine to simland to live accounts. Or you could start like most people, like I did, and go demo for way too short, crazy confidence, big personal cash live accounts, losing money first, then decide on, where you go from there. Usually it's not so nice and smooth where everybody walks the right path. I certainly did not. But, it's just scaling, right? Forget about the different labels. It's just scaling. We're always, as traders, going to want to scale up. And it's that never-ending raising of the tightrope in between two trees, right? The trading stays the same. What we're doing stays the same, but we got more risk on the line. We have to become better and better risk managers and ability to trade larger size and handle larger winning days and larger losing days. That's the continual evolution as a trader, right? And that's what makes a difference, right? Like Wolf said, he's God in God in demo, right? How do you come from demo to just the smallest amount of risk on the line? And how does that affect trading, right? And why does it affect trading? Mindset. So, yeah, good conversations, though. NQ's forming reverse megaphone. Nice one. Thanks for taking up prior high. A lot of chop. Stay out of the chop. Yeah, this is choppy, guys. I'm yapping here with you guys, not talking about trades because this is choppy. I got a trade idea getting close, but it's not nearly as clean as a pop-up here, right? We chop a little bit, pop up here. I would have loved that for a reversal, right? Where, like, instead of just turning back down from here, we continue, take out that high, and then come right back in. That would have been very clean. Now we're starting to drift higher. We might kind of just continue to do this, slowly drift. I get in short, and we just kind of continue to drift. I'm going to watch what happens as we come to sweep prior day high again, because we already broke it with overnight high up here. And I'm going to look for the 30s. I'm going to look for the 30s to 35s for a potential short. Again, we still have... we got some stuff moved around since I've been yapping with you guys on bookmap. Yeah, we're thick up to the 30s. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about live liquidity, looking at order flow by using bookmap. Bookmap's a simple order flow software. So we have decent quantity of sell orders up to the 30s here. Now we have some stuff moved around. We got 100 even actually, which I usually don't see, at 35, at 60.35, way up here. And even above that, just recently, looks like it got moved from the 32.25 to the 38.5. We got quite a bit up here. So, this might start to run if we break to the upside. Yeah, 35s. I wouldn't mind looking at it. I wouldn't mind looking at it from the 35, somewhere up here, right? Kind of fading a pop up here. Maybe we just get a retest of prior day high, but this is starting to look kind of strong. It's not a quick impulsive move. I don't like it as much, but it's still a valid setup. So I'm going to give myself the opportunity, but I don't know that I jump into this. This is not a dead set like I'm ready to throw a limit order up here. But let's see. We'd have to crack outside of let's say the 30 to 35s, above prior day high. And then maybe pause for a split second, show some sellers trying to step back in. Yeah, watching bookmap. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know, though. I think we just chop. I don't even know that we come up here. I don't know that we come back here. I think we kind of just chop around. We get some impulsive fake out moves and just chop it out. Another difficult to trade day. But we'll see. We'll see. Here we are, 10:15. I'm still no trade. I'm going to try to hang out and find something. I'd prefer not to just go no trade after no trade. Got a lot of accounts to manage now, so we'll see. Let's see. You guys are chatting in the chat. What do you think is a good amount for live account once you're ready, brother? Yeah, I think it's up to you. I think it's totally up to the individual. If you look at it logically, first off, it's just going to come down to you personally and your preference, right? Your financial situation, it's always going to be different. How much you're going to allot to trading. Futures are kind of unique where you have like an intraday margin requirement. Let's say, for example, you need $500 because I'm getting ready to load up a fresh one. Honestly, my big hesitation is I don't want to come off of Project X. But anyway, let's answer that question. You need different margin requirements for different things that you're going to trade. So for example, if you're trading ES minis on a lot of brokers, you need $500 absolute minimum. That's your margin requirement per mini that you're trading intraday, meaning you can't hold it overnight. It's much larger overnight. It's like 12 grand or 15 grand, like some large number. So let's say, for example, you threw like, 5 grand or 10 grand into an account. Do you need a whole lot more than that if you're just going to trade like 1 or 2 minis, like the way that I primarily trade on here? Probably not. I don't know. If you're going to trade huge size, you need a whole lot more. But as far as exactly how much you put in there, it's going to come down to you, how much you have, how much you want to risk, your size that you're trading, what percent of the account, if you want to look at it that way, that you want to risk. So it comes down to those things. For live Forex accounts that I was trading, I liked a larger balance. I liked a larger balance in there, and I would risk a real small percent of that account. And that would just feel good. It would just keep me calm. I would have plenty of space to work through drawdowns or, working into profit. I was way far off of having to worry about, margin requirements or anything like that. Just not a lot of leverage available to U.S. traders. But anyway, yeah, totally up to you. Totally up to you. Stay out of the chop, not worth it. Yeah, we talked about this. I can trade minis without any problem. XFA can only trade micros. Live would trade a half micros. Yeah, nanos, right? Yeah, no, keep risk small. 600 contracts at 25 were pulled. Okay, Tom's watching order flow with me here. Yeah, we had something really big come on right above around like 10:10 a.m. I did see that if I'm going back now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see it now. There was like 778 on the book at one time. Yep. So we had some sellers that wanted to get involved there. Now I'm seeing up to Tom, who's looking at it. I'm seeing at 35 outside of just the stuff that's surrounding price within the next like 5 points above and below. I'm seeing a 106 at 60 35, and I'm seeing a couple stacks of 100. Looks like we got like 110 at 38 and another 100 at like 38 and a half, and then another 113 up at 40. So interesting to the upside. To the downside, if I scroll out, same thing I was talking about, the 05's way down here. We got 183 on the book down here. So that'll be interesting to watch. Yeah, not as confident in these 30s. This is just, I don't know. This is just not it, as the kids say. This is not it for me, guys. We're gonna watch and see, but I've got a feeling I'm just gonna be sitting here. We'll see. We start to pop to the upside. I'm gonna try to fade it. We crack to the downside. I'm gonna try to fade that as well. Get some trades in. We'll see. Let's see. When you lost at the beginning, were you still working a side job? If you're asking me personally, yes. Yeah, I came to trading with doing well outside of trading. So I was not in a position where I was trying to make it happen and, make money from it very quickly. I was the other side, which is I think equally as dangerous. Like, I'm comfortably financially and I'm so confident in everything that I do. I'll figure this out right away. Let me load up live accounts, But yeah, I think and I talked about this in the past, not to go on another rant. Having outside income, I think, is important. I think glorifying full-time trading, being a full-time trader, I wouldn't do that anymore at all. I think having outside income, whether you're W-2, whether you have a ton of different side gigs, whether you are into real estate, whether you're doing something, you're never going to trade as well as when you have outside income to support your trading. I think that's just objective from me. It's subjective, but that's my thought. So, yeah. Practice trade. Yeah, I'm home. How do I set up automatic take profit and stop loss? So, Luke, I have a full series of Project X tutorials. You're in luck. A full series of Project X tutorials, like 12 videos. One of them is called risk settings in Project X. So to not turn this into a complete Project X tutorial, check that video out. But to answer the question very quickly here, you can't enter with an automatic, you can't enter with a custom bracket, but you can set your risk settings in the settings to a dollar amount risk per trade, and you will see that when I enter an order here, I will automatically be entered with a stop loss and take profit that I drag around. You can set that for whatever account you're trading. Let's see. Oh, yeah, somebody answered some of that. Guys talking about micros. Good conversations in the chat, guys. The gentleman that was talking about live told me that would assess me and it'll take 72 hours. Got feedback now. Let me see if I get moved. Was keen to buy the new straight to funded accounts, but cannot now. Lol. Yeah. No, I hear you, man. But that's the thing, right? Like, you know, not to make that this a whole conversation, but here's the way I think we need to think about it, right? Look at it from both sides of the spectrum. Whether you're taking evals and then getting into funded accounts, whether you're going straight to funded, you know, there's a limited time that's going to be able to work, right? You know, you're not making money with the firm, you're making money against the firm in Simland. And there's a nice mutually beneficial relationship when they get you to a live account and then you make money and they make money, right? And you have additional benefits like, you know, payouts every day, uncapped, you know, upside profit, no consistency rules, you know, some different things like this across firms. So I think if you're in a spot where you could trade really well and, you know, you're getting kicked to a live account like that quickly, congratulations, man. And I think you're going to be able to scale really well in a live account. So, you know, I see a lot of people talk about it and I wouldn't worry so much. You know, hopefully you're getting there with some decent capital to start with. Maybe starting small would work well, but you should be able to run it up, man. So I wouldn't worry so much about these, you know, these other sim accounts if you're in that position. I think you're doing fantastic, man. So that's my thoughts. So we got close to prior day high, and we're just continuing this slow drift higher. Holding VWAP for now. Do we get an impulsive leg up here? I could see it. I could potentially see that trying to form. Seller's not bringing it back down to VWAP just yet. Not a complete choppy move. This is looking bullish. We got some uptrend structure. I'm interested to put a trade on in these fresh straight to funded Sim Pro 150Ks. We got 7 of them being copy traded. If you don't know what I'm talking about, head over to Top 1 Futures. I'm going to drop the link in there again. Code RDF gets you the best deal. You can now copy trade $1 million in capital with no evaluation. Read the rule set. These are harder. They have intraday trailing drawdown. I'm not super confident in how this is going to play out for me, but I'm happy to do it live with you guys and have some fun while I'm doing it. A nice learning experience. But if you're confident in your trading, you want to leverage a lot of capital, you can deal with intraday trailing drawdown. You can have a either physically set or mentally set and stick to it, personal daily loss limit and personal daily profit target, and deal with the different consistency and equity stability scores that we have with instant funded accounts. I think you could do well. That's the, hence the gentleman here that is, thanks, bro. Wish you and me all the best. Just need to control my size. So, yeah, exactly. But like I was saying, hence the gentleman that's getting moved live with trading over a couple months. It's badass, dude. Just need to control my size. Yeah, I feel that. Zach in the big boy league. No, I'm in Simland. I'm in Simland with you guys. We're all in the same league right here, guys. That's, we'll see. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, right? You put up $1,000 on this account that I'm here. You put up 7,000 in profit. You know, it's wild. Copy trading creates some wild large wins, but same thing. You drop $1,000 on one trade, you're down 7K on that day. So it's a double-edged sword for sure. But it'll be fun. if we can get a setup, again, like, I don't know. You guys trading this? Is anybody in the chat? More money, more problems for sure. Anybody trading this? Like, you guys scalping this? Are you long off VWAP? Like, why? You know, I could have seen it if you were aggressively long, like I talked about earlier. If you're just aggressively long, you know, looking at just buying U.S. indices, buying the dip, you know, we're bullish overall on higher time frames. You drop down, you say, hey, you know what? We're holding VWAP. Sellers can't break this. We keep rejecting. I'm getting long with a stop loss like just below, and you know, I'm not at a 1-to-1 yet, but I'm getting close. You know, maybe that's not that bad. Maybe you take it like super aggressively long off VWAP. You know, those are kind of your plays. Not waiting for any sweep down below. But, oh, well, I wasn't even, I didn't have VWAP in the right spot. Let's see. How did that look if I reset it? Yeah, still aggressively long off VWAP. Could have played on some of that. Holding long from the start of sesh. There you go. Nice. Trash day. Yep. I'm scalping on the practice account I got with top one. Yep. Nothing wrong with that. Have fun. Long one from 6017. Nice. Nice entry. All the way off VWAP. Beautiful. Just shy of my take profit. 10.25. Beautiful. Very nice. Trading anchored VWAPs, buying dips. Very nice. Wolf says, nope, no further trades for me. Just chilling. Get my troll face on. Yeah. Yep. For me, guys, this is just not a lot. The way I like to trade this market these days, right, kind of what you've seen from me, is a wait for some kind of move off of VWAP, away from VWAP, away from the area of high volume, potentially a sweep of one of my key levels, a level of structure, an area of volume that also lines up with bookmap, some order flow, some liquidity, and trade it counter back down towards VWAP, back down towards whatever the area of high volume is, back down below or above, you know, if I'm taking a buy, whatever level of structure I'm trading from. I'm not hopping in long or short on a directional play off of the open. That's not me. So this didn't do that at all for me. Zero setup whatsoever. If I'm in a trade on this right now, I did something wrong for sure, you know, for me personally. Again, what would be a setup? This is definitely not as clean. The longer this happens, the less clean it gets. Sorry for making you dizzy here, but still the same play, right? Move to the upside for a reversion back in, 30s, 35s. Depends on what liquidity is looking like up there. Something like this. We drift beautifully to the upside. We don't get an impulsive move like this. I don't like it as much. Don't like it as much. But I'm going to hang out for a while longer with you guys. See if we can't get a setup. We'll see. Watching bookmap, watching order flow. Yeah, 38s, 38 and a quarter all the way up there. We got a lot. So came on late, so I'm not as worried about that. I could still see a reaction off of the 30s. One more test of VWAP. Even if we're gonna blast off, I don't know that we just do this. I think we do something like this, and then come back up. Sorry for whistling. I could see something like that happening, right? And I'm looking for this leg. And do we have to do that? No, we could just do that instead. But either way, I like this part of the move, right? So I'm waiting for this to happen. This is kind of my ready. I'm aiming as we come up here. And firing, pulling the trigger, if I'm going off of that ready, aim, fire type of framework, pulling the trigger on some type of hesitation, some type of high volume being traded out, sellers is seeming like they want to step in. On another day, I'm firing on the way up. If I have a super clean level, reason to do so, level of liquidity that I'm targeting, that's right at, you know, areas of interest on my candlestick chart. But I'd be waiting for a quick pause up there somewhere. But I don't know. This looks like choppy. I don't know that we get any of that. I think we just kind of chop what we've been doing. But I commend you guys. Commend you guys for staying patient, man. The other part of this is we're coming into the summer, right? It is June. We oftentimes get a summer slowdown. We really didn't get too much last year. Like I traded all the way through, you know, fully focused almost every day. We really didn't get that. We had like wild volatility, if I remember correctly, coming into coming into August and I think into July. There was some chop around the end of June and July, if I'm remembering correctly. That was really frustrating to deal with, and some top step accounts. But traditionally, what we get is called the summer slowdown. We just get the summer slump. Volatility dies down. Volume dies down. We get a lot of these choppy back and forth sessions that can be a little bit more just difficult to work with if you're trading directionally. I still think you could trade through it. I still think just not forming a crazy bias, but being aware sometimes that we get this slow movement and to stay patient is important, can be helpful. But that's something to be aware of. Markets are somewhat cyclical in that way. You'll hear a lot of traders talk about that, and something to pay attention to. But if you're on here, man, I appreciate you hanging out. You know the deal. Smash like, smash subscribe. Usually start 5 minutes. You guys are talking trading, which is good. You're talking to each other. That's awesome. No more giveaways. I don't see the giveaway in the title anymore. We're still doing giveaways. We just got a lot of stuff going on right now. We got new accounts that we're talking about. We're answering a lot of questions on there. We're rolling that stuff out. We still got giveaways, guys. Don't worry. I know we went crazy last week, and we're coming into a week where we chilled out a little bit. If you missed last week, we did a giveaway every single day, a 50K straight to funded giveaway. And we did cash giveaways on the live on Friday, which was pretty big. We'll have more big weeks like that, but don't miss it. I'm still going to pepper in giveaways here from the live. We're not going anywhere. Shout out Top One for continuing to support that. But I've been trying to get information out on this new stuff that's rolling out so you guys can make the best decision for yourself. But yeah, we will still have giveaways. Just chill. You know how you'll know if we have one? You'll hang out on the live and you'll know. Yeah, Wolf's still mad and never picked me. Don't need to spend a lot of time on the charts. No, don't need to spend a lot of time on the charts. A couple hours. What's your take on putting money in a live account? Or what percent of monthly income? Yeah, again, man, this is a super specific question, right? Super specific. And it's going to be, I can't answer that. And I can't even give a answer that I think would make any sense. It's so individual, right? What I really mean that. All of this is individual and you have to make your own decisions. But the amount of money that you personally allot to trading or investing or risking in the financial markets, that's so individual and it's going to vary so much person to person. So I wouldn't compare yourself to others. I would just look at your own personal financial decisions and say, situation, what am I comfortable losing? What am I comfortable risking, for return? But it's so individual. So anything that me or anybody else tells you, I think is a bunch of BS. It depends where you're at. Also, your experience level. Do you have a reason to believe you stand to make money consistently? Are you still learning? Are you 15 years into these markets, right? Way ahead of me. All of those people are probably going to have a different risk profile for what they're going to do in the markets. But as far as where you're at, it's going to be individual, man. And I think here's the basics. If you're just learning, keep it on demo. When you're ready to move off of demo, which you should do somewhat quickly, risk the least, no matter who you are, because you're probably going to lose, risk the least amount you can. Get a challenge account, get a cheap instant funded account, if you want to go instant funded. And you're probably going to lose that. So just risk the least amount that you possibly can while you're still learning. And then as you progress from there, it's going to be individual to you and your results, but more importantly, your financial situation. That's going to be individual to you guys for sure. So nobody can tell you that. I used to end first 5 minutes of the day. Yeah, you guys are talking individually. Yeah. Watching this market chop. Again, appreciate you guys hopping on, hanging out. You know the drill. Let's get some banners up. Smash like, smash subscribe. I'm live here, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, almost every damn day, showing you what real trading looks like for me. Yesterday, showing you a no trade day at all on the live. Today, showing you that I'm waiting patiently for something that would give me a good way to structure risk and an indication that I can actually get a trade on. That's what trading looks like for me today, guys, for better or for worse. And, if you hop on and you're like, no, you missed 47 beautiful scalp trades, I give you credit. I think it's all I can do is show you what it looks like for me. And right now it's waiting patiently. Nothing here for me. That's a good setup. But outside of that, I also have a 100% free trading Discord. I would be more than happy to have you in there. We talk trading, we talk technicals, we talk markets, we talk prop firms, we talk everything that has to do with trying to make money in these damn markets. Be more than happy to have you in there. Not a VIP feeder program, no course or anything to try to sell you. I certainly yap about the companies, the software, the firms that I'm partnered and affiliated with, and I stand to make money from, that I can't be unbiased about. But that's about it. That's about it. Yeah, man. This is choppy, man. We talked to the Sun, Saturn, and Mars. We talk to the planets, and we all get together and we say, please send ES to the moon right after I get long. Saturn, please control the U.S. political sphere from sending these markets as they've done more days than I can count this year. Yeah, I'll take a look at bookmap with you guys. This is just painfully slow. Let's bring up bookmap. I haven't wanted to do it because I thought we might pop here. But let's go ahead and bring up bookmap on the chart. We can take a look at what we're looking at. There we go. Sharing. All right, we got bookmap. This is my favorite order flow tool, as always. I'm partnered, I'm affiliated with bookmap. I stand to make money. I can't be unbiased. I was trying to avoid doing this so I could show you the entry if I get one. But here's what I'm looking at. Looking at liquidity above, up to the 30s. Some of this changed up. We had algos come on and off this morning, which was kind of interesting. We had this stuff come on, get moved around, looked like maybe over here, maybe over here. But we've been pretty thick up through the 30s this morning. Here we go into it, right? Of course, as soon as I share bookmap. We start to move, guys. I'm going to look for an entry without jacking up my screen too much. But we now have liquidity that came on to the 35s and all the way up here. Still below overnight high, which is at 40.75, but not by much. So, excuse me. This could be interesting to the upside. I'm still looking between the 30s, 35s for an entry. But we could really jump quickly 10 points up there. Yeah, we got some trading being done right now. So I want to see if we clear this out. I'm going to be looking potentially short aggressively if we come and clean all this out. It would be a crack back above prior day high. We consolidated here. I'm looking for a sweep above and then a reaction back in. But if you guys want to check this out, links down below the video as well. You can get the best deal for yourself. We're looking at price levels right here, quantity of orders on the book, above and below price, sell orders above, buy orders down below, and it's displayed by way of a heat map. There we go, back in action on the main screen. Let's throw that link in the chat. Get you guys, anybody that wants to check out bookmap. I think it's pretty sweet. Let's see, man. Right to prior day high, not cracking above that level just yet. Wolf says reversal from prior day high. Yeah, that could be it. I'm looking for the sweep above by a couple points. Tom taking a take profit on the practice account. Very nice. Yeah, nothing wrong with testing when it's slow, keeping yourself risk off, right? Hopping into a practice account. I've seen a lot of big traders do that. They want to continue to be in front of the charts, but they know the conditions are just trash for them. So they just kind of take trades in a practice account. I think it can be helpful to do. It can also be helpful, like if you're someone who tilts, if you're someone that just can't stop themselves. If you go to a practice account, usually you like start trading and you lose money, and then you go, well, I should probably just not do this in my actual account. So, it can help to just wean you off of taking dumb trades if you're in that situation. So, it could be useful there. I don't know that it's great to do it all of the time because you can get into the habit of like continually like expressing this desire to do something that doesn't make any sense. and that won't help you in a real account. So reason for caution there, but it could be a good demonstration to yourself. I also heard an interesting one on trade management, right? So check this out. I was watching somebody comment that when they test different trade management styles, they trade. Here we go. Kraken prior day high. Let's watch this. I want to share this demo account for thought process for trade management styles. So I thought it was kind of interesting. Here we go. Kraken to the upside. We got some momentum here. We got some wiggling going on. We got some volume for sure on a very low volume, choppy type day. I'm gonna watch through the 30s. Through the 30s. Ooh, here we go. Let's see. Immediate rejection. That's trading right to the 30s. We got some buyers stepping in right below this. Oh, man. Didn't even give me a split second. Wow. Sell side getting heavy. 600 right above price. Yeah, this is dicey. I'm still looking short on this, but we still got sellers that want to get filled. I don't know if they're going to drive it lower right now. That might be it. One of two things. I think we're going to get a reversion or we're going to blast to the upside here. I'm looking at it short, but the 600 sitting in front. Can buyers lift this real quick so we could turn back down, or is that going to be it? Again, guys, looking short on this. Back down towards VWAP. Kind of an impulsive move. There we go. Okay, now we lifted it really aggressively. Do we blast off? Nah, seller's still trying this bad boy.
Order filled.
I'm getting short on this one, guys. I'm getting short on this one. I'm looking to run this back down to the downside at the most. Again, this is not a take profit that I would actually hold to. I'm going to manage this if we start to move lower. I think we're just going to see some movement here. I think we're either going to really start to take off to the upside, or we're going to reject really harshly here and start to come back in. I think it's a good way to structure risk, right? If I'm wrong, I'm dead wrong. We're turning this into a nice bullish day. We're getting above prior day high. We're going back above, overnight high. That's probably wider than I need it to be, honestly. I'm going to leave that there for now. But I'm short from 60.29 and a quarter. Again, what I framed out really all day, waiting for the 30s, 35s. A lot of interest right there. This is pretty dicey. I am fading a decent bullish move to the upside and now a pop. I'm looking at this, even if we are going to push higher, that we drift back down to the 20s. We got 100 on the book down below. But buyers could step right in here and blast this thing off. I see no way to structure risk to the upside. It's not a play for me to get long on this at all. So I'm taking my trade as I see fit. Like we talked about, put your trades on, let them play out, right? Not caring about the P&L, not caring about the individual outcome of any one trade, right? Just trading your strategy, trading your approach, collecting data. It's working, great. Do more of that. It's not working. Look at your entries, look at your trade management, look at what you're doing, adjust, improvise, overcome, right? Just continue to try to get better. But that's what you do. So now once I'm in, hanging out, very mechanical on trade management with these. I'm dragging into profit pretty damn quickly if we start to sell off. Getting either stopped for a partial or realizing a larger movement. So let's see what we get on this one. Chat, let's see. Stairs up, elevator down. Yeah, we'll see. This could be elevator up. If we lift these. Decent trade. Yeah. Good for me, right? Checks all the boxes. A+, whatever you want to call it. Patiently sat on here for an hour and 15 minutes. Waited for a level of interest on my chart, an area of interest to get hit. Indication on bookmap as well. Does it have to play out? Absolutely not. Am I comfortable realizing $1,000 of loss on this? Absolutely. If you're not, you shouldn't put the trade on at all, right? You shouldn't have your stop loss wherever it is. You should have less size on. You should do a number of different things. But let's see. Let's see what we get out of this bad boy. Obviously, you can see we got a lot of hesitation there. We had quite a bit of volume traded. You could see it even on the traditional candlestick chart without me pulling up bookmap. A lot of volume traded right there, right? Because we had quite a bit of orders that we came through. Obviously, some consolidation now starting to sell off. Does this trade play out or not play out? I have no idea. We could rocket to the upside. Does these past 5 minutes of sitting here right at this level and what we're doing right now give me an indication that I waited for the correct spot on my chart personally for me to get involved with the market? Whether or not it plays out well, yeah, it does, right? There's a reason for that. So let's see. We can start to sell. Again, I'm not looking for a home run on this at all. I'm going to manage risk to the downside. Again, now we are in these accounts with an intraday trailing drawdown. So you really got to be cautious letting something come into profit and then move all the way back on you. Trailing stop losses, I think, are going to work really well. But outside of that, setting a personal daily loss limit, personal daily profit target, and not going above that is going to be important to stay in line with an equity stability score. So that's important to realize. So for example, right, with these accounts that I'm in, that moved, 1.5 points into profit, $150, right? My max loss limit, now that that's moved into profit unrealized, has trailed up $150 in up from, whatever the starting point is, 6,000. So that's important to recognize with these accounts. It's definitely different than an end of day trailing drawdown for sure. So let's see what we get. Got a bunch of people that hopped on. Of course, we got a trade on. Now everybody's interested. What's up, everybody? Smash like, smash subscribe. You're about to see a W or an L. Either way, happy to take it live with you guys. Waited for the 30s, sweep above prior day high, area of interest on my chart. Area of consolidation where we saw some nice movement. Maybe we need to crack up to the 35s. I'd survive that movement. We push all the way through the 40s. I think we're coming to test this, maybe turn this into a big bullish day. But looking for a quick rejection. I don't need this to turn around to be a crazy movement. Again, this is just a fixed take profit in case somebody makes a comment, Trump says tariff, and we rip in one direction, and I don't accidentally put up way too much profit. But I'm not holding to this. That's not the play. I will drag my stop loss into profit as we start to move a few points in the direction of the trade. If we start to move a few points in the direction of the trade, and either be trailed out at that point or maybe realize some profit at an area that makes sense. But that's pretty much it. Gotten pretty systematic, pretty mechanical with my my trade management these days. I would consider I'd consider a move into profit pretty quickly on this again because I'm looking to trail on accounts that have an intraday trailing drawdown. Looking at bookmap, it's a little bit dicey. We have 500 on the book. That came on, what is that, 2 minutes ago? Yeah, 5 minutes ago. We got 500 on the book up here at 32.5. That does not bode well for my trade. We're going to see if we have to come up there and grab that. Again, I'm going to be cautious letting this come into profit and come back on me. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays. Yeah, seller's not ripping this thing lower. We're not getting a big impulsive move, but I'm going to be patient. It's been slow all day. I don't know that all of a sudden we turn into a huge impulsive move out of this. I like the reaction so far. We might have to chop around up here. We definitely might have to go grab these orders. And if we pull back up to fill these, if we find strength through the 32s, 32.5, it could be lights out really quickly because we got a big stack. Big stack of orders on the book all the way up through the 38.5. I'm looking for a pullback potentially before we do that, or we just leave those on the book. So let's see. Let's see what we get. What's going on, guys? Scott. Tea leaves. Scott, how are you doing? Stairs up. Trek down. Yeah, we're going to see. Everything's a trek today. Everything's a slow-moving trek today. Oh, there we go. Popping back up through entry. Very nice. Let's see. Let's see. The buyers want to drive this thing higher. We want to go and fill. We want to go and fill this to the upside. Oh, they pulled it. Where's Tom, who was watching order flow with me? Check that out, Tom. We have 400 on the book. That looks like BS. I don't see it moved anywhere. I see a little bit heavier at the 35s. But that looks like some spoofing manipulation that would actually be in favor of my trade since it was up above price and now is gone. Those sellers don't want to be filled there, or they never wanted to be filled in the first place. But we had 500 on the book at 32.5. Yeah, just not getting the reaction I'd love to see from this level. Again, I think we're going to see some momentum pick up here, either really pushing to the upside or coming back down on us, which would bode well. But that's interesting to see 500 on the book disappear. We got about maybe 100 there now. We're trying to come into. Back to the 30s. Let's see. We want to turn this into a bullish day. We want to go back and fill the top of this wick and crack to the upside and start moving higher. Push this daily candle higher. We're going to reject, come back down, check out VWAP. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot so far, kind of just drifting around. Posted a gold trade last night. Yeah, we'll check that out, man. Awesome. Yeah, guys, if you're not in the Discord, hop in the free Discord. More than happy to see what you guys got going on, share trade ideas, talk about what's working, what's not working, all that fun stuff. Link's in the chat. Link is here. I'll grab the link for you guys. $100% free Discord. More than happy to have you in there. Right back to entry. Hanging out at entry on this one. Don't love it. Don't love it so far, but we're fixing to find out, as they say in the South. Let's see. Consolidating so far. Really no directional movement. Forming a... I try to stay objective, right? Forming a range here. There we go. There we go, boys and girls. Dragging aggressively into profit. Aggressively. I'm at 225 on the stop loss. Again, don't want to let this thing sell off and then come back on me. Dragging aggressively into profit again. 4 or 5 points. No, 3-4 points into
Order
profit.
filled.
There we go. Stopped on that one. Okay. Nice. Do we continue to sell off from there? I don't know. But what I'm not going to do is let that thing dump on me and then come all the way back up. Why? Especially in these accounts. Why? We are in intraday trailing drawdown. So as soon as that thing starts to move in profit, they don't care about what's happened at the end of the day. That max loss limit has dragged all the way up to that point right there, back down to the 60.25. So mechanical, same way that I've been doing it, waiting for it to move into profit up to a certain point, and then starting to drag into profit. But we got a W, first W on these accounts. Let's do the math. This should be fun. What is 317.40 times 7? Yeah, $2,235, guys. Copy trading on seven accounts. So that's the power of copy trading. Now, remember, if that moved against me and we just ripped to my stop loss, I'm down $7,000. Is that a beautiful risk to reward on anything here? Absolutely not. But like I said, and you'll see from me if you hop on these live sessions, I'm dragging aggressively into profit. I'm no longer going stop loss just to break even. I got points that I'm looking to do it on these trades, but it's been working pretty well. And I've been trying to work with the top trader that implements this stuff really well to make a solid referral. I'll be talking about that more in some videos coming up. But yeah, we got a W. Patience, Zach. We can see 1 to 3 pushes after clearing a level. In my opinion, it would still come down. Saturn is bright. Yeah, absolutely. I could absolutely see it still coming down. We might sell off from here, right? I'm going to stick to a very systematic risk management approach, trade management approach that I've been doing for sure. So we're going to watch it from here, right? You guys are either going to say, wow, look at that, man. It would have been a max profit. We dump right here. or wow, look at that, we went right back up to your stop loss, right? We're probably not going to stay here all day. And that's the beauty of journaling afterwards, right? Look at your execution. I got short right here. I trailed myself out right here by getting really aggressive on the way down. What happened after? Do we continue to sell off really aggressively? Do we continue to come back up into profit? Do we come back above entry? Maybe you adjust your trade management from there, right? So forgot about these new straight to funded accounts. Yeah, keep it tight. Yeah, absolutely, man. Again, intraday trailing drawdown. It's just intraday trailing drawdown. Important to remember that. Nice. Good trade. Got my close my long too. Yeah, I'm short from up here on a move back to VWAP, right? I'm very mechanically and systematically managing my trades nowadays. I apply a lot of discretion everywhere else, so I got to be a little bit systematic somewhere by dragging into profit. Do I still think this is coming down? Yeah, I still think this is likely to come to VWAP. I'm sticking to a very consistent trade management approach, meaning exactly what I do after I get into the trade. And what I'll do is, as I always do, review and watch what happens. Is what I'm doing working really well? Is it best for my P&L? Yes. Is what I'm doing not best and I can do something else different? Maybe. We'll do a little bit more of that. But one thing that you have to remember, no matter what, in these accounts, is you're dealing with an intraday trailing drawdown. So a trade management style that would fit well with that is aggressively trailing into profit. Why is that? If you allow a trade to come all the way into profit and all the way to come back, maybe just to stop you at break even or positive, one tick, $12 or $25, your max loss limit now trailed way up with you. So you can essentially lose an account or get real close to losing an account or give yourself no room to work with without actually losing money in the account, but allowing unrealized profit to move out in profit and then come all the way back on you. Important to remember that. Really important to remember that. Posted that comment when you were still in the trade. Yeah, no, I figured as much. Forgot the new straight funding. Good trade. Close along too. Yeah, man. Hanging out on these ones. Again, guys, if you want to check this out, what I'm talking about here, post the link again. These are 55% off. 55% off everything right now on Top 1 futures with code RDF. If you were waiting for a deal at all on Top 1, or you're interested in copy trading 7 of one style and 3 of another, this might be worth checking out. I would encourage you all to watch the videos that I posted. I got more rolling out today. But more importantly than that, head to the frequently asked questions page. Read the details. Read about the ESS. Read about the intraday trailing drawdown. Read about the minimum profitable days to pay out. And you might say, hey, dude, these are way, way too hard. I don't want to remember any of this stuff. This is not for me. Totally cool. Maybe you check out the instant funded. You say, that's a lot simpler. I'm going to run that. Maybe you read that and you say, Top 1 as a whole is just way too complicated. I'm just going to trade a personal account or on demo or do something else. I genuinely encourage you to do that, right? As someone who's biased and stands to make money, make sure, if you do nothing else, that you understand the rules of any account that you're trading with. If you're trading with a broker, in a live market environment, the market that you're trading, the rules and regulations surrounding all of that, right? Nothing's going to save you from not understanding the rules, right? And being comfortable with them and making a game plan on the front end. So that's the play. Guys, coming back up on this one, I'm going to hang out. I'm just interested to see what happens here. We sell off back to VWAP. We start to chop. Happy with my trade, right? Short off the 30s. A larger pullback that I would say today. Not a whole lot. A couple points, man. Not a whole lot. We're not really moving too much. But interested to see what happens here. Do we start to blast to the upside? We start to sell back off. I'm going to hang out for a little bit longer. 11 a.m. Just clocked that 11 a.m. candle. Looks like buyers want to try to run it back up, but we're going to watch this one play out. But yeah, $2,200 bucks. What was this number? 319. The power of copy trading, guys and girls. It's really something. Yeah, almost $2,250 in profit. $2,235 across 7 accounts. It's crazy. If you copy trade 7 of these bad boys to a payout with the max cap per account being $3,500, it's almost a $25,000 single payout that you can pull. I don't like to entice anybody with that because I think it's very difficult to do that. Very difficult. And I I'm not confident that I'm going to be able to do it in these accounts. I think this is going to be a good learning experience for me. Probably a painful one where I potentially lose them quickly. But the upside potential is there, just like the downside risk is there. So do your homework. Yeah. What does VWAP mean? VWAP is volume weighted average price. It is this right here. Is this line on the chart? You can find it in the indicators tab, and it's exactly what it means. It is a volume weighted average price. This one resets at the session changeover after NYSE session closes and the next day opens up. That is what VWAP is. Often used directionally, used as maybe a dynamic level for support and resistance, area of interest on the chart. Helpful. Kind of similar to a moving average, just takes into account some volume. No, it is not the same as an EMA line, which would be an exponential moving average that would take into account the average of a specific amount of candlesticks based on the input that you put in there. So that is something different, similar to a moving average, but different calculations, right? So VWAP, again, volume weighted average price. It is a volume weighted moving average. That's kind of the way that I would look at it, right? With different inputs that you can throw in there. Anchor period, the source. You could have it set to different periods on what you want it to anchor to. Different things like that. If you put a 200 EMA on the chart on the 1 minute, for example, I think that's one that people run side by side. If I was going to run an MA, probably be a high number on a low time frame like that. So there's that comment. Thanks a lot, bro. When does the trailing account stop for these new accounts? What is the buffer? Here's what I'm going to tell you, my fine friends. Here's what I would like you to do. Number one, if you want to head to my YouTube, I have multiple videos up to describe that stuff in detail. But head over to top one through the link. Check out the frequently asked questions page right here. Scroll down to the bottom right here. There's all the detailed rule sets on this bad boy. And to answer that question specifically, Zach, when does the trailing drawdown stop on these new accounts? What is the buffer? Boom. There's your intraday trailing drawdown with examples. And when does it stop trailing? At the same place as the other accounts. Starting balance plus 100. So as I moved $6,100 into profit, my drawdown would lock at $150,100 on the account, which is cool. It does lock at a certain point, but it is intraday, which you have to pay attention to. The buffer on these accounts is shown right here. Oh, wait. I didn't start sharing this tab. Sorry. You come over to the frequently asked questions. Now we're sharing the right tab. You come over to the frequently asked questions. You scroll down. Straight to funded pro accounts right here. All of your detailed information. This was the one that I just clicked on. I'm doing a little bit faster now. And here you go. You got details with examples, all that fun stuff. Again, if you don't like to read, I do videos on it. But if you like to read, it's pretty simple. Share this tab instead. Straight from the home page right here. You can see we have a trailing max drawdown of $6,000 on the 150K. Right now, there is no daily loss limit. Also important to note, guys, remember, this is a promotional thing they rolled out. The entire new accounts, these straight to funded Sim Pro, they announced it. They were very clear. This is for 2 weeks. They rolled out the ability to do all of this. They're likely going to pause it, stop accepting people, definitely with the price, definitely with all this rule set, watch how everything plays out, and then adjust from there. They've had to make changes in the past. I think they're going out on the front end on this and saying, hey, look, we want to set this stuff up. We want to offer these new opportunities to make money with us. And on the way to a live account, here's how we're doing it. We're going to watch how this rolls out, and we are definitely going to have to adjust. So this is all for 2 weeks until the 18th, I think the day is. Important to note that. The price is not going to be the same, and all of this rule set is likely going to be adjusted. I think it's pretty sweet right now, but they're going to adjust that. So important to pay attention to. Getting a bunch of messages rolling in. Let's get back to the markets, watch what's going on. Right back up towards entry. But good questions, guys. Good questions. How can we see the whole DOM on Project X instead of just the current bid and ask? That's a good question. There's not level 2 data yet through Top 1 Futures. As far as I'm aware, there's not a subscription for level 2 data yet, Luke, that would give you the full depth of market within Project X. I don't know what the holdup is. I've asked about it. Everybody's asked about it. But we should be able to subscribe to level 2 data. If you don't do that, you're not going to get it. And then you'll get the full depth of market, similar to what I'm looking at on bookmap. So, but good question. They know about it. It's in. Everybody asks every day for it. So hopefully pretty soon. It's been a couple months, but I'd like that very soon for us all. Personally, I'm not going to use it just because I didn't use it on Top Step. I just have level 2 data with bookmap running on the side. But good questions. You guys got any questions about these accounts? Feel free to ask. I really try to take time to do my homework and be able to bring it to you guys as a resource for information. So let me know. You affiliated with any beard oil companies? No, I'm not. That's a good question. If I was going to make a recommendation for beard oil, maybe Grave Before Shave can hit me up. It would be Grave Before Shave for Beard Balm, and I think it's called Fisticuffs mustache wax. That's the stuff that I would use to keep my beard in check. That's the deal. You guys are funny, though. Very off-topic questions. They said trailing stops at payout and locks at initial balance plus 100. Yes, correct. So remember, also, the same way there we go, selling back off after coming back up. Wolf, after taking a payout, right? Separate question. Secret is out. Yeah, there you go. After taking a payout, what happens in any of your accounts, right? Regardless of how much profit you had in the account. Your drawdown, your max loss limit, right? Your working capital resets to the balance of the account plus $100. That's very similar across firms, but regardless of that, that is what happens at Top 1. So if you took a payout, for example, before being, I don't know, whatever amount in profit that you need to take a payout, and that payout eats into, whatever amount, you have the balance left, whatever you leave in the account left, right? So that's the deal. But yeah, important note. That's similar to, other accounts, but something to take into consideration. It's a reason guys like to build a big buffer, not take a payout. But yeah. Yep. Silky smooth beard. Yeah. I don't know about that. You guys are funny. So anyway, watching this one chop, we did start to sell back off. Is my VWAP in the right spot? Yeah, we did start to sell back off. This made it further into profit, obviously, than I trailed myself out at. Got short just below the 30s on this. Not a whole lot. six or so points into profit. Did come back and forth, and right here I'd be sweating it, watching it have moved, maybe 5 points into profit and then come all the way back. But again, you watch this stuff play out, and I think that's where you can always improve on trade management. Go back through your week, look at what your trades look like. How did you manage them? What could have you done? What could you have done differently, and would that have helped you out? Bounce to VWAP. Yeah. So anyway, guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up right here. 1 W on the fresh accounts. One of them is not fresh. I had one early where I played with it, so I think I made like $8 in it or something. But got a 7-pack. I'll be trading with you guys. I don't know exactly how I'm going to manage this. Haven't thought too much about it. I probably bounce back and forth from the 3-pack to the 7-pack. But it'll be fun to experiment with you guys, right? If I'm going to talk about this stuff, I better be making or losing money with them and showing you that, as I'm doing it. So happy to do that with you guys. Live here tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. We got guests coming up later this week. We got 2 guests coming up Thursday and Friday. Maybe we get some giveaways rolling, maybe not. I don't know. You'll know by hopping in the Discord and on socials and here on the live sessions. But appreciate you guys being here. Smash like, smash subscribe. Again, check the channel out. I got a ton of info rolling out on these Top 1 accounts. And not just that, a ton of stuff on just trading in general. You guys were talking about live accounts. I have a video back from the editor. I'm going to drop it pretty soon. Funded accounts versus cash accounts, right? Live cash personal accounts. Anyway, guys, remember, Disclaimer, trading's risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, RDF, bookmap, all that fun stuff. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. Important for you to know that, weigh that, and grain of salt it if you want. Thanks, guys. Scott, later, guys. Luke, I'll talk to you guys later. AD, see you guys in Discord. See you here live tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Trade safe if you're going to continue to trade this. This is choppy. This is pretty ugly up around these highs, but trade safe. Structure your risk. Talk to you guys soon.